Your best reporting engineer just sent in their resignation. You are shocked. They seem fine. No complaints, no drama, great performance reviews. You ask them why, and they say something that hits you like a truck. I just didn't feel like I was going anywhere. This happens all the time, and I've seen it from both sides. As a manager at Google and before that at Nike, I managed high performers who went on to do incredible things. I've also watched other managers lose their best people, not to better offers, to neglect. Here's the uncomfortable truth. High performers don't leave bad companies. They leave managers who just forget about them. And by the way, how do you manage a high performer is one of the most common interview questions for engineering manager roles. I've asked it in a dozen of interviews and most people get it wrong. So if you watch this video till the end, you'll not only become a better manager, you'll also nail this question in your next interview. So let's get into it. Okay, so quick intro if you're new. I'm Vinay Bansal, engineering manager at Google. I've been an IC, a tech lead, a senior manager, and I've interviewed hundreds of engineers and managers. And I run this channel to give you the real no fluff playbook for growing in tech. So let me start with the number one mistake managers make. They assume high performers are easy to manage. Think about it. Give them a hard problem, they disappear for a week. They come back with something brilliant. So you think, great, I don't need to worry about them. You shift your attention to the people who need more help. The ones who are struggling, the ones creating noise. And that feels logical, right? Spend time where the problems are? Wrong. Here's what's actually happening. Your high performers are watching. They see where your attention goes and slowly they start feeling like the reward for being great is being ignored. On top of that, high performers are your biggest flight risk. They have options. Recruiters are in their inbox every week. And the moment they feel invisible or stuck, they start entertaining those messages. When I interview manager candidates, I ask this exact question. How do you manage a high performer? Almost everyone says the same thing. I stay out of their way. That's a weak answer. And at companies like Google or Meta, it's a red flag. High performers don't need less management. They need more intentional management. There's a big difference here. Okay. So let's talk about rewards, because this is where most managers default to the obvious answer, money. You pay them well, fight for them in calibration, that's the table stakes. If you're not doing that, nothing else matters. But here's what I've learned managing top engineers. Money is a scorecard for them. It tells them where they rank, but it's rarely the reason they stay or leave. What actually keeps them is what I call recognition currency. And it comes down to three things. First, visibility. Don't just say nice job in a one-on-one. That's private. It disappears. Instead, put them in front of leadership. If there's a high-stake design review, let them present the architecture they built. Let them own the narrative. That kind of exposure is something they can't get on their own no matter how good they are. You, as their manager, are the gateway to that. Second, opportunity. If there's a conference, a cross-team initiative, a high-impact pilot, they should be your first pick. These are the experiences that stretch people, and high performers are hungry for that kind of stretch. And third, attribution. This is the part most managers miss. You have to be excited about why you're giving them these things. Don't say, do you want to go to this conference? Instead, say, I'm sending you because your last two projects moved the needle. I want you representing this team. See the difference? You're connecting the reward to the impact. When someone knows you see exactly why they matter, loyalty comes up. No bonus can buy that. Okay, so now let's talk about a trap that almost every manager falls into without realizing it. Your high performer finishes early. What do most managers do? They give them more work. Or worse, they hand them the messy cleanup someone else couldn't finish. I call this performance punishment. You're basically teaching them that being fast and good means being overloaded and grunt work. And that's a terrible lesson. Over time, one of two things happen. Either they burn out or they slow down on purpose. Either way, you lose. So instead of giving them more work, give them harder work. High performers don't want 10 small tasks. They want one scary problem. The kind of problem where the solution isn't obvious. The thing everyone else avoids. That's the real reward for being great. And here's the thing. Don't wait for a stay interview. You know those conversations where HR tells you to ask what would make you leave or stay. By that point, it's already too late. They've already been thinking about it. Try this instead. In your next one-on-one, ask, what's one thing you want to achieve this year that we haven't even started? This does two things. It makes them imagine a future on your team, and it positions you as the person who clears the path for them. When someone sees you as an enabler of their ambition, they stop looking elsewhere. Okay, so now let's talk about something uncomfortable. Pushback. High performers are smart. They notice problems early, and unlike most people, they actually say it out loud. This project doesn't matter. This project is slowing us down. Now your instinct as a manager will be to defend, to explain why the decisions were made, to protect your position. Don't. This is an ego check moment, and how you handle it defines your relationship with them. Instead of arguing, pivot. If they say this project is pointless, ask them, if you were in my role, how would you make this high impact? Now, they're not a critic, they are a partner. When people see their ideas actually shaping direction, buy-in skyrockets. They are no longer executing your plan, they are executing their plan. And that changes everything. Alright, so let's talk about the hard case. At some point in your career, you will manage someone we call the brilliant jerk. You might already have one on your team right now. These are the people who deliver amazing output but are terrible to work with. They are rude in code reviews, they dismiss other people's ideas, they make the team feel small. And this comes up in interviews as well. Interviewers want to know how you handle someone who is technically brilliant but culturally destructive. It's a test of your judgment as a leader. Some managers look the other way because the results are good. That's a trap. There's a simple way to think about it. One person with 2x output who makes everyone else 0.5x is a net negative. The math doesn't work in their favor. When you address this, don't make it about personality. Don't say you're being rude or people don't like working with you. That puts them on the defensive. Instead, talk about growth. Say something like, your technical work is strong, but your collaboration is the thing holding you back from the next level. To get there, people need to follow you. Frame it as a missing skill, not a character flaw. If they're truly high performers, they'll treat it like a problem to solve. That's what they do best. So here's the last big one, growth. If a high performer feels stuck even for a few months, they'll start answering recruiters' messages. That's just reality. Your job as their manager is to build their next step before they go looking for it. Ask directly, where do you want to be in 2 years? What skills are you missing right now? Then give them the next level work. Not someday, now. If they want to be a tech lead, let them run design reviews. If they want to manage people, let them mentor a junior engineer. Make the promotion boring. What I mean by that is, by the time the title officially changes, everyone should already see them doing the job. There should be no surprise. That's how you know you have done it right. And remember this, you're not just a coach. A coach talks to them. A sponsor talks about them when they are not in the room. In calibration meetings, in leadership discussions, that's how careers actually move. And that's the kind of manager people never forget. Alright, let me leave you with 3 things you can do this week. 1. Publicly recognize a high impact win. Tell them exactly why it mattered. 2. Next time they push back, don't defend. Ask how they would solve it. 3. Give them one task that belongs to their next level. Do this well and 2 things happen. They stay and you build a reputation as a kind of leader people fight to work for. And if you're navigating a tricky situation with a high performer right now, maybe a retention risk or a brilliant jerk scenario, and you want to talk it through with someone who has been there, check out BeTopTen.com. You can book a session with experienced leaders from top tech companies who can help you work through your specific scenario. Link in the description. Next video, we are covering the other side, how to manage low performers without losing your mind. If this video was helpful, hit like and subscribe. I am Vinay Bansal and this is BeTopTen. See you next time.